Many Men on the Mic, presented by Netfront LLC. Now here's Coach Drew and Coach Jared.
It's Too Many Mike on the road, coming to you from Baltimore and St. Louis. I love this. This is how we do youth hockey, right?
This is like old times when we used to do these little remotes.
And I would add to it that really this is Judgment Day, because it's really about Grant today.
For sure. Yep.
It's really about Grant's bet.
Yeah.
And Grant's bet that he made of, is he going to be successful in one of two things? Is he going to play golf, or is he going to come to the Too Many Men on the Mic acoustic show on June 18th from 5 to 8 at the St. Louis Music Park? Grant, do you know where the St. Louis Music Park is by chance?
I do not. I'm unfamiliar.
Grant, we can't hear you. You might be muted.
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
I would say our guest today knows where it is, because it's the crown jewel of hockey in St. Louis. It is at the Centene Community Ice Center. Too Many Men on the Mic acoustic. We're doing a victory lap. This is the biggest. This is a victory lap. And then Grant has to come, because what happened? See what had happened is there was rust versus rest. We put to bed that it was definitely rust in game one. Definitely rust in game one. And then something happened.
He's very quiet.
Montreal decided to stop shooting the puck.
Do you got me?
I hear you just fine. I hear exactly what you're saying.
Drew might have me muted. I'm not sure. But, we won the first game and then I stopped watching. I think that was the big issue. I was high that we won. I was happy that we won. And then I thought it was single elimination, and it wasn't.
Yeah, it's not the NFL; it's the NHL. Yeah.
So when's the show's June? The show's June 31st, right?
June 31st on the second Tuesday of next month.
Right.
I'll be there.
Right.
June 18th, 5 p.m. I expect you. You know what? You're lucky we didn't say that you were going to be our roadie and have to help us out. What we should have done is you should have been the roadie.
You should be loading the gear, Grant.
Yes, you should be absolutely loading the gear.
Does that add to my? Is the roadie get a little extra? Do I get some tips?
Well, we'll talk about that. We've got a big announcement. Well, we actually have a big announcement later on in the show that we're going to get to, but more to come on that. Hey, there's something else that's kind of big going on. We're recording on Tuesday. We're going to be live. The show's going to drop on Thursday, but it's 7:09 Central Time, which means it's 8:09 Eastern Time, which means that we are dedicated to this show, and please, nobody tell me what's going on, but the Stanley Cup Final starts tonight. Who do you got, Grant? Grant, you know what, Grant? I'll let you. Well, chances are the Stanley Cup's not going to be done by the time of our gig, so we'll have to. Maybe we'll do a double or nothing. We'll do something on it. But are you a convert? Are you coming over to Carolina since they doused the Habs?
Yeah, I like
douse that flame that the Habs walk in with every game.
I like the Canes. I think they're going to score. I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this series, which I feel like you don't see often in the finals. I think they're normally a little more cagey. I think there's going to be a lot of goals. I think the Canes are going to be victorious.
Drew, what do you think?
I don't know. This is a tricky series, because this is what Carolina has always been working for. I mean, the last 8 years, if you've been a hockey fan and you've been watching this journey, and Rod Brindamore, he has willed this team to get to this point. He's tried to, and he's done it, Jared, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 different
times,
right? Didn't they do it? Haven't they had 3 different conference championships?
Yeah. Fourth time was the charm.
Well, no, I'm sorry. The opportunity to potentially go to the Stanley Cup, and they didn't get there. And so 4th time's the charm, and so now they're finally here. And what's ironic, and I don't have the stat in front of me, maybe we can pull it up during the show, is has there been a player who was the captain of the last time a team has won the Stanley Cup, who is now the coach of the team going into the Stanley Cup? Fascinating.
If it's anybody, it's a Montreal Canadian, not to rub salt.
I was going to say, I was just going to say, it's going to be Toronto or Montreal. It's got to be somebody that played and stayed in coaching, and it's got to be from like the 40s.
It certainly wasn't
50s,
Wayne Gretzky.
Maybe it wasn't Wayne Gretzky. No, absolutely not. So some big things happening for the first time in many, many decades. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I think everybody's overthinking this. I think Vegas in 5. I'm going to put it right out there. Vegas in 5. I just read my background. Vegas in 5. If you're drafting a team between the two teams, the top 5 or 6 players you're taking, 5 of them are Vegas Golden Knights.
Well, and tell me what the Toronto fans are saying right now. Every Toronto fan right now is going, "Oh my gosh, Mitch Marner is in the Stanley Cup."
Mitchie
and
boy, man.
maybe
I love it.
Maybe it's not him. Maybe it's me.
It's not you, it's me.
Also, off topic, it's 7:13 on the day of recording, and the puck still hasn't dropped.
Oh, wait till they get to the Fortress in Vegas. That pregame's going to last an hour. That's like, they'll have so many Elvis impersonators, but this is a youth hockey podcast, and so we've got to tie it all back to youth hockey.
Exactly.
As a coach. In fact, I was talking with a fellow hockey coach today, and we were talking about how when we were growing up, we watched hockey games. And so my appeal to all of the kids who I coach, all of their friends, all of the kids listening out there, if you're not going to watch the full games, at least watch a full period. Pick a wise coach. A wise coach told me, pick a player on each side and watch how he plays and try to get better through watching and seeing the things they do well, the things they don't do well. The awesome thing about Carolina is if you want to learn how to forecheck and see what it takes to be a forechecker, that team's got plenty of them. I mean, it's like they've got 6 guys on the ice half the time. And if you want to watch, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, and if you want to play with speed and use your feet, then watch Carolina, because they seem to be a team that moves their feet, has players that buy into that system, and then takes that to another step and then translates it into their forecheck to where they use their feet to their advantage on the forecheck to create turnovers in the offensive zone.
Yep. And if you want to learn how to spell goal by using net front, because you can't spell goal without net front, watch the Vegas Golden Knights. Watch how Barbashev, former St. Louis guy, shot out. Watch how Eichel controls the play down low below the dots. And you watch this Dorofeev and just see how he is just always moving his feet inside the high danger zones, home plate, but going to the net. And then if you want to enjoy hockey at its finest, watch what Mark Stone does after he scores a goal. I don't think there's a person who gets more excited.
He's the best.
But which brings me into this little segue here. We want to talk about speed. Well, one area of hockey where there's not a lot of speed is adult men's league hockey, adult women's league hockey.
We try.
We've got a great guest today from USA Hockey. We're bringing in Josh Holmes. He's director of adult hockey with USA Hockey. Now, Josh is joining us here a little early. Grant's hot on the trigger, so we get to embarrass Josh with his intro while he's on screen. Josh played roller hockey at Lindenwood University here in St. Louis, and then went on to have a retail career with Pure Hockey. And then from working at Pure Hockey and developing relationships across USA Hockey. In 2024, he joined as director of adult hockey and is out in Colorado Springs. And today we're here to welcome Josh and really talk a lot about the parent aspect, setting great expectations and how we can leverage, especially with some of those novice parents who hockey was not a sport they played growing up, or and give them perspective. And so, Josh, man, thanks for joining. You've got a couple of adult hockey players on here as well, so I'm excited to see where this one goes.
No, love that. And thanks for having me, guys. This is an awesome opportunity to talk to you both.
Josh, I love this. We've never had an adult hockey segment this year. And so I will just share that Coach Jared and I both know many players. And I love this story. This is this is what's great. That this is the love of hockey and the lifelong journey. Both of us know multiple people that have gotten into adult hockey because their kids played the game. 3 of them are on my men's hockey team right now. And I just love it. And when I'm out with them, I love to see them have success and just, get a little bit better each time. So what a great topic to have this year. And to have you today kind of cover it from a USA Hockey perspective. So thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
And you've got to put your selling shoes on, because we have a potential new adult hockey player on in our midst with Grant, our producer.
Oh my God!
We're trying to get him to come out and skate out our practices, and maybe and he still keeps stonewalling us.
He's slow rolling us. He's slow rolling us, Josh.
Slow roll.
You got to get out there, Grant. It's once you're in, I'm telling you right now, it's not only did I see it in the stores, but I see it at every event that I'm at for adults. It's once they're in, the beginner players, right, in the adult classification, they're sold. They come back for not only the camaraderie, but just the excitement that they get when they first step on the ice and see and feel how hard it is to not only play our sport for the first time, but to get better at it, right? And it's almost it's like golf, kind of. You get out there and you're like, I want to just get better and better and better.
So Josh,
you got to get out there.
Josh, you just hit a nerve, and a great nerve. I feel like where we should start this conversation is with the parents. So what have you found in working with adult hockey players? And let's just say hypothetically, you have a mom or dad that thinks that youth hockey is easy and has watched their kid throughout the years and has said, oh my gosh, why doesn't he do this, or why doesn't she do that? And then suddenly they're on the ice and they're trying to do the same kind of things. What's that moment like for you? And what do you see out of them?
Oh, for me, it's hilarious, right? Because I mean, I'm fortunate enough to where my stepdad, he played at CC, so he's not one I can make fun of. But my mom thinks, the first time she gets out there, she thought she was going to be unreal at hockey, right? And she was a roller skater back in the day. She calls herself a Rexer, so she gets out on the ice and it wasn't as easy as she thought, right? And then you put a stick in her hand, it's like watching Bambi, right? But we see it all the time. We'll be at a classic that we're running, and you'll have the little kids come off the ice, and then the next thing you know, the dad will walk up and say, hey, I'm playing in your Rusty division, right? Which Rusty is either you're far out of the game or you're just joining the game. So it's pretty funny when, the kid just gets off the ice. Dad's now jumping into one of our games for our event, and the kid's sitting there on the board, the Dashers, just laughing at his dad because they realize, like, dad can't do half the things he wants me to do, right? So it's, why not shoot the puck harder? Well, dad can barely get the puck off the ice, right? So it's pretty hilarious to see when the kids stick around and watch, and then you can tell which kids are, pretty good, because they'll sit there and chirp the dad after they get off the ice, right? And say, hey, you should do this, do that. And we see it all the way from 8 years old all the way up until 16 years old, right? The 16-year-olds are a little more brutal with their comments, but even the 8-year-olds will chirp the dads coming off, and the moms, to be honest with you.
I wish we had a camera or a microphone in the car on the way home to where we could change places. So now where the kid could say to the dad, you really need to work harder getting into XYZ, or you really need to do a better job of passing. So suddenly the kid is giving pointers to the dad or the mom.
Well, Josh, you just mentioned the Rusty division, which I absolutely love. In fact, that's going to be Grant's new nickname once he gets on the ice. We're going to call him Rusty.
Rusty. Oh, I love it.
Talk a little bit about, so we're used to, Drew and I being, members of USA Hockey and being involved. We're used to USA Hockey being the developmental path, and then at the upper levels, going for gold medals. None of us are going for gold medals. So what does a day in the work life look like for Josh Holmes? Let's talk a little bit. Let's set the tone for what your role is.
I can't wait to hear this. Let's hear this.
And then let's work backwards from there.
Yeah. So honestly, I'm actually in the membership department. So adult hockey kind of stays out of that player development department. We're in the membership department. So my main goal is to grow membership. Adult membership is a little under 182,000 members right now. With women's hockey being our fastest growing sector. So that is, yep. So yeah, I mean, women's hockey is growing like crazy across the board. But that's my main job, is to reach out to associations that are, either using general liability insurance or, they kind of just form pickups and they're not really covered. They don't have support. They don't have, ways to kind of get referees to their rinks. That's what we do. We come in and we help support those associations by helping them out with officials, with, things like Try Hockey for Free gear, jerseys, all that good stuff. So other than doing that, my other part of my job is running all the adult hockey events across the country. So we have about 7 classics that we run. And then we also have 2 national tournaments, men's nationals, women's nationals. We also have one of the largest pond hockey tournaments in the country up in Eagle River, Wisconsin, which we're from 200 to 250 teams out on Dollar Lake, 24 rinks built.
Love it.
Isn't it 3-on-3, 5-man teams, 6-man teams, 3-on-3,
4-on-4, 7 max rostered. You get some of the craziest jersey names and team names, and it's a great time. I mean, it's honestly one of the biggest joys of this job is running that pond hockey tournament up in Eagle River.
That one is amazing, and I have talked to my own men's hockey team about we should try that out sometime. But since you put it out there, you have 7 tournaments adult tournaments that come across the country. Come to St. Louis. We are happy to support you and drive a adult hockey tournament and make it a success in all ways, and not just from a hockey aspect, but a good place to go and maybe have a meal and get together as a team and commiserate and all those kinds of things. So I'll put that out there.
No, we're always looking for new spots. I mean, the 7 that we have going this year, they've been around for a while. I mean, adult hockey used to have, I think it was close to 16 classics across the country, right? Now that our department is ran by me and my amazing manager, Delaney Baker, we were on the road a lot. So from mid-March all the way, we just finished our last one. Well, not our second to last in Vegas this last weekend. So we just got back from Vegas. But yeah, we're on the road. The longest we've been at home is about 4 days in the last 3.5-4 months. So, so a lot of travel.
Time giving us an hour today. Then,
absolutely.
So I love the membership angle, and one of the things that you said that we all say that if Grant ever was able to, get the courage to get on the ice, he could say it as well. Is you call it our game, our game, and I love that. Whether you're a 6 years old or 60 years old, you're playing this game. You become a part of that. Talk about, we have this, saying in youth hockey, all roads lead to, we'll call it adult hockey.
Men's league.
Or all roads lead to men's league.
Yep.
Even if you're in the NHL. I mean, I've gone to Hockey and Sun camps up in Minnesota where it's, it's amazing to see how when your son or daughter puts the skates on and you've never played before, how quickly you want to become a part of that. So talk a little bit about that messaging and what are some of the things that, not even just for new players, but just in general that you're doing to help grow this game at the adult level and keep people playing?
I mean, to be honest with you, Jared, this game does it on its own. I mean, once you know what I mean, an adult starts, let's say they don't have a kid that plays and they jump into the game in the mid-30s, right? Once they get past that sticker shock of the gear, they're usually bought in, right? So it's like, all right, they show up to the rink, they get in the locker room, they realize the camaraderie, and they keep going. You know what I mean? It's crazy to see. I mentioned men's nationals earlier. We have a 70 plus and 75 plus division at that tournament.
Wow.
I could probably compete with that now.
Wow.
That's probably my level of play right this
That's
point.
amazing.
In this period.
Both divisions actually had 4X Stanley Cup winners in them. And those guys are playing with guys that maybe started in their 50s, or you know what I mean? And it's just cool to see those guys be humble enough to play with guys that maybe started later in life, but they're, you know what I mean? They're going, and it's one of it's the coolest division we see it at nationals.
So that's a goal. That's a goal for me. I want to be in the 75 plus men's league. That's fantastic. I love that. How cool.
It's awesome.
Well, Josh, we got to pay a quick bill here and do a quick read, but you still got some time to hang with us. There's a lot of fun stories and a lot of fun talk we want to get going here for the next segment. So if you can, hang loose, and we'll be right back to Too Many Men on the Mic. So for those of you watching on our YouTube feed, and obviously if you're listening, you can't see this, but we've got a great new logo up. What an awesome day. What an awesome opportunity, a new partnership that Too Many Men on the Mic has here in the St. Louis area with Vantage Credit Union. They, Drew, I don't know how else to say it. They are the new presenting sponsor for Too Many Men on the Mic. It's a Vantage Credit Union where St. Louis goes to bank with confidence. The opportunity that's in front of us to give back to the community with this type of partnership, and some of the ideas that we're already talking about in terms of live in-person events, giving back to families in need in the hockey community. I couldn't be more excited, and I know you've probably got some great things to say about it as well.
Absolutely. Vantage Credit Union was part of our Mid-States broadcast last year during the regular season and also the playoff season. They're also a Maryville hockey sponsor, an ACHA team that has just achieved Division I status. And so this is a company that's invested in the community and the youth hockey community in particular. So thrilled to have them as our flagship sponsor.
And so what this means to our audience, to the players, the coaches, the parents, and the community at large is we've got what I would call a blue chip sponsorship that's going to allow us to continue to bring on the phenomenal guests like Josh Holmes today from USA Hockey. It's going to allow us to continue to invest in great software and ways to help people become better coaches, better players, better parents like Drift Hockey. And most importantly, it's going to give us this opportunity to get boots back on the ground, get in the rinks, talk to parents, talk to kids, talk to coaches, bring fun back in. And it's all because we've got a great partner with Vantage Credit Union. So it's Too Many Men on the Mic, presented by Vantage Credit Union, where St. Louis banks with confidence. More to come. It's officially going to be in place August 1st, but we just couldn't wait till August 1st. So we're excited, and thank you to Vantage Credit Union for partnering up with Too Many Men on the Mic and becoming our new presenting sponsor. Real quick, folks, before we jump back in, if you're enjoying Too Many Men on the Mic, hit like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. It's a quick click for you, but it helps us grow the show and keep bringing you great hockey conversations. You can also follow us on Instagram by scanning the QR code on your screen in the top right-hand corner. And be sure to download, follow, and rate the podcast on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also go directly to our website, tooManyMenOnTheMic.com. That's the number 2. We were able to get access to our great content, including drills and small area games in our Coach's Corner section. Those are small things from you, help keep us delivering new guests, downloadable coaching content, and more from the rink. All right, back to the show.
We're back with Josh from USA Hockey talking adult hockey. This is near and dear to my heart because if you are a coach, if you are somebody that's played youth hockey before, and you have met a potential parent who looks at their kid and says, why haven't they done this? Or they need to get better at this. Or why didn't they make this pass? this is the episode for you, Josh, isn't it? Isn't this the episode for our listeners where the parents who always want their kids to do more can suddenly kind of turn it inward and look at themselves, assuming that they go out on the ice and attempt to be a hockey player, and say, wow, this sport is a lot harder than I thought it was. So I'm curious, is that where adult hockey players start with you? Is that the first comment that comes out of their mouth when they're on the ice with you? Is it, wow, this is harder than I thought it was going to be? I kind of feel like maybe it is.
Oh yeah, it's one of the first comments, and it's usually a comment for the next 6 months of them trying to figure out our game, because you might learn how to work your outside edge, inside edge, and then next thing you know, you're trying to catch a pass while also doing that skill, and then you also have to keep your head up. Oh, that's a little harder, right? Peripherals aren't as keen as they were when you were in your 20s. Let alone when you were a teenager, right? So all those different little skills come together, and a lot of moms and dads realize this is a lot harder. But the awesome part about our game is that there's so many of them out there that they can all play together, right? And they all look like that out there together while they're tripping over each other's stick and accidentally slashing each other in the shin or accidentally high sticking each other, right? So it's awesome to see those parents.
Now I'm in. Now I can hear it. I dropped out there for a second. Say that last part, Josh. I didn't catch the last piece.
The accidental tripping and the accidental high sticking part. Yeah, no, that is the funniest part about watching beginner parents all be out there together is the oops, I didn't mean to do that. And it's a high stick right to the cage, and they keep going.
Some of them aren't accidental though. I've run into a fair amount who think that they're just playing the game hard, man. Just playing the game hard. I'm like, buddy, it's 11:45 at night. We got to go to work tomorrow.
Well, that's where that USA Hockey insurance comes into play. No joke.
Drew and I were part of a youth hockey board for over 8 years, so we know all about the umbrella policy. Right. So that kind of leads into some of the misconceptions, right? Because Drew and I have had a wide experience with parents, and oftentimes it is literally the and look, I'm calling it what it is. It's mostly dads who say, why can't you do this? Or why can't you do that like Drew? Their primary exposure to hockey has been watching NHL on TV. And so what are some things that, through different initiatives and the membership drive and different resources to kind of get people to understand that these misconceptions about hockey have to be laid to rest and that nobody starts off like Muriel Mio? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, through our adult try hockeys for free, you try to explain that to every parent in the chalk talk prior, right? Like, look, don't get out here and think you're going to be Eichel. Don't jump out here and think you guys are going to all of a sudden just take off. It's going to take a lot of practice, right? So we encourage the free skates and stuff like that to eliminate some of the elements that you get when you put all the gear on and put the stick in their hand, and next thing you know, they're wearing a helmet, which a lot, have never worn something on their head like that. It's not a hard hat. It's wrapping your whole head, right? So that can throw a new skater off just in itself. So it's explaining to these parents that, like, this is step by step by step. I mean, it'd be like taking a guy out onto the golf course that's never swung a club and expecting him to get around the course, right? Not going to happen. So it's very similar when it comes to hockey, except that you're on 2-3 millimeter blades and you're trying to learn inside outside edge, when most jumping into the game just think there's one edge, right? That's an explanation in itself. So to do that, it's awesome.
Well, how much of it, because that's a great point. And Brian Burke says this best. It's like the greatest game in the world because we ask you to learn how to do something that there's actually 3 disciplines in the Olympic sport, and that's called skating. So how do you lead into learn to play? Is there learn to skate programs? Is there support for that at a grassroots level? Talk a little bit about that, because that's the biggest barrier for most folks to get on the ice, is that big fear.
Yeah, I mean, Try Hockey for Free is the greatest program that we offer around the country. I mean, and shout out to all the associations that put those on, because without those associations, we wouldn't have Try Hockey for Frees, especially on the adult side, right? But what that does is it gets them comfortable without having all the gear on. So usually a Try Hockey for Free is very simple. You know, they get the skates, some will wear shins. You put a stick and some gloves on it in their hands, and you know, you kind of just take them around to little stations, right? Little stations of passing back and forth, trying to put a puck on the net. You're not doing any edge work at that point. You're trying to teach them just to the basics, right, of push-offs. You'll go to an adult Try Hockey for Free, and majority of the participants are holding on to the wall. But that's what it's all about, right? Is getting them comfortable out there and trying to get the concept in their head. I personally like to compare it to other sports they may have played in the past, right? When it comes to the hockey IQ side. But like you said, it's very hard to say, hey, it's like when you play soccer. No, it's not. You're on, again, 2-3 millimeter blades, right? So you can't really compare the whole running or, you know, it's a different game. So the hockey IQ is somewhat easier to explain to an adult, right? Depending on what sports they grew up playing. But again, there's so much on the beginner side of adult hockey that you really want to stop. Like when I'm running an event, I want to go out on that bench for half the teams in the beginner division and go, hey, has ever thought about doing this? Or, you know what I mean? Or not always trying to go forward east to west. And it's like, you try to explain that to them, and sometimes it clicks, and sometimes they get right back out there and keep going forward and trying to shove the puck up the ice and give away possession. And you're just like, no, don't do that. But it's hard to explain all that while they're out there.
We're talking adult youth hockey, I can say that, and maybe adult men's hockey, because eventually we're going to transition from youth hockey over to adult hockey. And this is really a episode for parents, and the parents that sit in the stands and say, why can't my kid do this? Or why didn't they make that great pass? Or why didn't they shoot the puck at that aspect, until they join the team and join the game and are on the ice. And suddenly they find themselves going, wow, it's a lot harder to pass the puck and shoot the puck and get open and support play and maybe get to the net front, right, Josh? Well, have you found those things, maybe a little bit of sticker shock when some of these parents come out on the ice and are joining?
Oh yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things is in my beginner divisions and the tournaments that we run, right? It's so hard not to go over to the benches and go, hey, you guys realize you don't have to just push the puck up the ice every time you get it, right? There's this thing called possession, east to west hockey, right? I cringe when, you know, and especially when a team comes off and says, hey, they're not beginner, they beat us 5-0. And it's like, no, somebody taught that beginner team to possess the puck. You guys haven't learned that skill yet. So you guys just give it up to them and they, you know, go down and score on you. Right. So it takes a lot as a tournament director to not go over on the bench and start coaching. But there's so many different aspects of little hockey IQ things you can teach beginner players. And again, some need the help with edge work, some need the help with passing, but a lot of it comes back down to the IQ. And it's funny because they're watching their kids do it, yet they can't process it while they're out there, right? It's like they can't comprehend not just to pass the puck to the other team. And it's like, well, you had like easily probably 20 seconds until that other beginner player made it way to you, right? To where you didn't
reading War and Peace.
Yeah, like it's like, oh my gosh, I have the puck. There you go. And it's like, you have plenty of time to just slow the game down, especially at that level. Right. And so that is the joy though of being in the adult hockey department. You can mold some of these players, and next thing you know, they're advancing out of that beginner up into the D3 or D2 or whatever these associations have set up, right?
So I love it. It's going back to hot potato hockey is what I like to call it. It's a hot potato. Like, I got the puck, but I don't want it on my stick. So I got to move it to somebody else. So we're back to learn to play. We're back to 6U hockey. How humbling for all of these adults that are getting on the ice. And what I wonder is, do you feel like, Josh, that now that they've been through this journey, are they kinder on the refs? Are they kinder on the coaches? Are they kinder on the players? What have you found over your journey in USA hockey? And do you think that they have had a sudden change of opinion now that they have been on the ice and experienced the game for themselves?
Oh, kinder to the officials. I don't know if that's ever. No, I'm just kidding. No.
I knew I liked Josh. I knew I liked him.
No, I mean, you know, it really depends on where I'm at in the country. I will say that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It really does.
Absolutely.
It really does. I mean, you can tell some dads and some moms too, that, you know, go after the officials. They realize that, you know what, like, maybe when my kid accidentally lost an edge and he high sticked another kid right in the cage, that was a penalty, right? Because they do it all the time. I mean, they can trip over the blue line in adult beginner hockey, right? So it is. You can tell the ones that have calmed down since they've started playing, but then you have the ones that, like, it's almost like they take the aggression from their kids' game and they put it right into their own game, right, when they're out there.
Oh, man.
And it's like, come on, buddy. Like, you're not, you know what I mean? We're not playing for the Stanley Cup. Just have a good time out there. So
I call those guys cuppers. The guys who are out there. Like, what's up, cupper? So you're saying the pendulum can sometimes swing, and it's like, well, now that I know how to skate, I actually have a better opinion. I'm going to share my
Josh, do you have any, just out of curiosity, do you have any stats? Are there more moms learning how to play hockey than dads?
I honestly would say so. With how fast our women's hockey sector has grown, especially over the last 2 to 3 years, I would say so. I mean, moms are way. And to be honest with you, it's awesome because and you see it in girls hockey. Girls hockey is growing like crazy. Right?
Yep.
And it is so cool to see, you know what I mean, a mom out there, and then the daughter's right there with her bag too. You know what I mean? It's awesome. So, and that's at our women's national tournament. You know, a lot of the moms and their husbands are, you know, there, and they're in the stands with the daughters, and they're watching and they're cheering mom on, and it's an awesome sight to see.
Everybody likes to play. A lot of people don't like to lose. And so when you have like this at-risk period of a new dad or a new mom, they're on this new team and they're starting to like say, hey, you know what? I can get up and down the ice. I'd like to start winning some of these. Are there scenarios where they're coming to you or to different resources saying, like, you want us to come to these tournaments, but if we're going to get our teeth kicked in, like, help us out here. So talk a little bit about if there's any resources for USA Hockey and for players and teams to get a little bit better.
Yeah. So what I've tried to create at a couple of our tournaments is a adult beginner/skills division. This adult beginner/skills division, what it does is it allows these learn to play teams to come into a destination location and learn the game, right? And also play the game against other teams like themselves. It's an awesome division. What it does is it gives each team 3 games at the tournament. They also receive a on-ice session as well as an off-ice session with our player development guys. So what they do is they kind of watch the first game from all the teams. They kind of sit back and go, okay, well, this team, you know, they can kind of skate, but their passing is kind of all over the place, right? Then they'll look at a different team and say, okay, they can pass, but they can't get the puck off the ice. They can't shoot. So it allows these teams to get better while having fun, right? While being on the road with their new teammates. And we actually piloted in Vegas, right? And it's, why not go have fun playing against beginner adult hockey players in Vegas while learning the game as well, right?
Right.
So yeah, so
it's like Skip Barber for hockey.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so I mean, like little things like that. I mean, other than that, I'm trying to roll out a lot of initiatives to make it easier for beginner players not only to join but to get that coaching, right? There's so many skills videos out there. I would love to do more from our end to help those beginner players. But and you guys know, it's just like trying to learn. I always keep referencing golf because that's, you know, my new game, right? I can sit there and watch how many videos online, but to go to the rink, to the course, and actually, you know, swing the club, shoot the puck, that's the important part, right? And it doesn't have to be, you know, in full gear every time. Public skating is because that's the hardest part of our game is getting those two four edges, I should say, around the ice, right?
That's right, 4 edges. Well, we're super like grateful for the opportunity to bring this to our audience, our listening audience. We look at like our audience and it's kind of like a hockey game. You've got 3 periods. We've got like 3 pillars of this stool. You've got the players, the coach, and the parents. And, you know, the more we can get everybody into that player category, the more parents who can become players, I think the healthier our game becomes. One of the things that we are always trying to do is we're trying to develop not just players, but good coaches. Drew and I personally have seen some friends who have started hockey because their kids have played, and then they've gone back and become level 1, level 2 coaches, you know, wanting to give back. Does USA Hockey have any way to track that? Do the folks on the coaching side, do they get and take a look at membership? Are there initiatives? And what have you seen there? It feels like that could be a natural fit.
Yeah, I mean, from our end, we have the ability to track that actually. So through, you know, it'd be like Jared and Drew, like once you guys sign up as a player, right? I can go back and see that first time that you became a player in our system. I can then go, okay, well, maybe Jared played for 2 seasons. He was claimed by this association. And next thing you know, there's a coaching record on that, MEM-ID, right? So yeah, we absolutely can track that. And it happens. I mean, some of the best coaches at youth hockey are guys that picked up the game. They're not jumping into coaching right after their learn to play session, but they take a season or 2 to figure it out, right? And then they jump in and they're motivational guys. They're getting that team to believe in themselves and to believe in one another, which I think is a huge, you know, benefit to a lot of youth teams that have the little Johnnies who think they're all-stars, right? And they won't participate with that kid in practice because he's not as good. But you have those individuals that are dads that bring everybody together and get everyone to believe that they're one team. And I think, you know, the more parents that we get into the game, the better.
That's our friend Marshall Marietta. Shout out to Marshall. He just got a big smile on his face if he's listening, which I know he is.
That's awesome.
Last minute of play in this period.
Well, and you talked about the certification and the tracking. That's great to hear from a USA Hockey perspective because as you get into the community and you get your USA Hockey number, that's a way to track your progress. And then ultimately, if you continue on that journey, you'll reach Jedi status, which is also the same status as Jared because he's level 5. He reminds me of that.
You know, that's what somebody said. I don't know.
Okay, level 5.
We never talk about that on this podcast, so I don't know what he's talking about. It never comes up.
That's Buddha status, Josh.
I
know. Trust me, I know.
Well, you know, it's just it was a nice weekend in Columbus. Well, Josh,
I was there, Jared. So that's funny. I was actually there during that weekend.
We broadcast from there. I was talking with John Lynn from Sweden, and I had Pooch and Jablonic And we did in the little green room that was off to the side. Of course I was, rubbing elbows with John with Torts. No, not a big deal. He's in a game right now. That's all. Not a big deal. But so no, it was a great weekend, and it's that type of stuff. I think it's, and again, if you're listening out there, if you haven't gone to sleep, this is what it becomes your game, because the Kevin Bacon rule, we're much closer than 6 degrees of separation. It is literally a family, a community. Shout out Vantage Credit Union. It is a community. But we're so excited that we were able to talk about this today. We have a great program here in St. Louis called Winterland that's run by, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Kevin Whitworth, who is a St. Louis hockey legend, USA hockey guy. But Winterland here in St. Louis, that's where a lot of the dads and moms who Drew and I have come to know and love here have gone on to become really great adult hockey players, and many of them have become coaches. So, for those of you interested, hit Drew or myself up at Jared at TooManyMenOnTheMic.com or Drew at TooManyMenOnTheMic.com. We'll get you in contact with Kevin Whitworth of Winterland Hockey. And I see, Josh, you're nodding your head. Does that name ring a bell?
Oh, yeah, that rings a bell. No, I know that.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Kevin's coaching. Kevin is still coaching our squirts, and he's coaching 60-year-olds. So 6U and 60 plus and 6U. So it's amazing.
Well, I like to call him Dr. Whitworth because he is he is a Jedi, a Buddha master, and he does so many great things for the youth hockey community, for us here in the St. Louis area. And he's just an example of probably the many great people that do training, not only for kids that are trying to get into hockey for the first time, but also for adults that are getting into hockey for the first time. So we're so lucky to have him. Dr. Whitworth is what I call him, and we're lucky to have him here in the St. Louis area.
Well, Josh, thanks for joining us here today. I think we've got time to get through the second and third period live, although unlike Grant, we don't have VCRs. We can actually watch the game from the beginning and fast forward the commercials. Grant is just like not even willing to come on now.
Yeah,
he
there
is.
he is.
He's hiding. There he is. There he is.
I don't like watching live sports recorded. It's my biggest pet peeve. I would rather get it spoiled and tune into the second period.
So you're the guy that instead of watching it on Hulu or YouTube or wherever you get your TV, you're listening to it on the radio while the guys, like Cardinals, for instance, if it's 3-2 and guys at bat and you're like, that he's already either hit a home run or he struck out, you're listening to it on the radio so that ahead of time, right?
No, I prefer to watch live. I don't like watching recorded sports.
Oh, well, fair enough.
And by the way, I am a Cards fan for living in St. Louis for 5 years. Everybody knows you live there that long. You're a diehard. So
that's good.
There you go.
Well, you know what? When Grant loses this bet that we're going to make, you can come in and he can take us all to a Cardinals game.
Oh no.
Josh, man, thanks so much for joining us, man. Thank you for everything you do with USA Hockey and giving us this time. Best of luck over the season as you're doing all these great travels, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, guys. Honestly, it was an awesome show. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks. St. Louis hockey families and business leaders, if you need custom gear that stands out and stands for something, it's time to meet 5B Designs. Founded by Shannon Brahini, a proud St. Louis mom and entrepreneur, 5B Designs is a woman-owned small business that brings purpose to custom apparel. Whether you're suiting up your youth or high school hockey team or leveling up your company's branded swag, 5B delivers top-notch quality with a personal touch. You need a team store? No problem. Corporate polos or event giveaways, they've got you covered. 5B makes it easy with fast turnaround, flexible service, and designs your players or employees will love to wear. Check them out at stores.inksoft.com/5B Designs. That's the word 5. And if you're watching on our YouTube feed, go ahead and scan that QR code in the top right-hand corner of your screen and see what great gear and great service looks like. Well, you know what that sound is, Drew. It's time for Coach's Corner Drill Draw, brought to you by Drift Hockey, the all-in-one hockey tool. And Coach, I've got a pretty fun drill here that, again, we're always trying to get the drills and the games that the kids are always saying, hey, one more coach, one more coach, one more coach. And if we can, I'm going to pull up and create this drill here for us. Let me share my screen, get us in. It's drill draw time. We're at Coach's Corner, Coach. You know what that organ means. That organ means it's time to highlight what all the kids love. Coach, one more.
I mean, that organ brings me back to 1983. 72 is when I was born. So I'm going to say, that was the Atari Casio sound.
It's the best.
I would say, I'm going to say Casio. That's what I keep going with. It's a Casio. Right? There it is.
Grant's away so we can play.
Absolutely. And you know what? We won't have that on a Too Many Men on the Mic live acoustic show, but we'll have it here for drill.
It's tough. That's a tough one to do.
Yeah.
Well, this is a drill. Coach, we've run this plenty of times, and it's an opportunity really to get a little bit of chaos in the zone. We don't put a lot of rules and structure. It's a game called Score Anyway, Score Anywhere, Score Anyone. And essentially what we're doing here is, as you look at the ice, we're in one zone. And instead of facing the nets toward each other, we're stacking them so that they're facing the same direction. So we have one in the traditional crease. We have one just about the top of the circles, just outside the hash marks. So why don't we go ahead, we'll put a goalie in each one. And the goalies, they get to be their own color because there is nobody's – the one thing about this game is nobody's on the goalies team in this game. So it's actually a really, really, really good game for goalies to focus in on their awareness, making sure that they're tracking. But this is a game where it's 3-on-3, but then everybody's playing against the goalie. So let's talk about how it starts off here. Start off at the blue line with a lineup of players on either side of a coach. And we'll put some blue players over here.
The best part of this drill for me is that you can literally score anywhere.
I love it. And score anywhere and anytime. So there's no, it's kind of similar with the gambler where it's like, hey, if I think I've got an opportunity to score on this net versus that net, somebody can peel off. The only constraint that we have is on change of possession, the players have to pass to one of the three coaches that are here. So on change of possession, that's the only constraint. So let's go ahead and put the players in. We'll do player 1, player 2, player 3. Coach at the top of the blue line places the puck deep in the zone. If I'm a goalie, I'm trying to get my paddle on that puck to try and direct it away from me and so that they go towards the other goalie. And that's the other piece of it, too. If a goalie gets a chance to play the puck, if I'm the goalie in the crease, I'm playing that puck over here so they go and try and score on this goalie. There's so much to this. There's awareness.
Oh, my gosh.
There's support. There's compete. Compete on every level.
There's a card game called Pass the Trash.
Exactly.
That's a good analogy for that.
Well, we call it Score Anywhere, Score Anytime, Score anyhow. And it's a very simple game, but it's one of those games where – these kids play for about 35 to 60 seconds. And if we want to move on to the next game, they're like, one more coach. And there's no better feeling. So, we have so much fun here. Communication has to be key. And being able to identify, is the best play for us to all dive down and go 3-on-1 here to this net? Should somebody peel off and maybe come this way and try to create a backdoor opportunity or optionality? Optionality. That's another.
Ooh, that's a big word right there.
That's a big word. but we're trying to gain possession. And again, the only constraint for the skaters is if there is a change of possession, they have to pass back to one of these coaches, and that coach then plays it back into them. Great game. Nobody's on the goalie side. It's goalies against everybody against the goalies. But this is one of those games that, you've got edge work, puck support, compete, communication, and then you got to use that hockey sense. Do I take, if I see that we're getting caught up with the puck down here and there's, you've got a battle here, do I peel out and allow for that puck to come up the boards and then maybe go score on this goal? And again, if I'm a goalie and I get my hands or my stick on that puck, I'm throwing it at the other goalie and letting him or her have to deal with it. So
and if you play other sports, I guess what I would add is it's kind of like half court with 2 nets. You're not just change the possession, passing back to a coach on either side or at the top, getting the puck back, and you're going in on one net. You have 2 options. You have 2 goalies to shoot at. And so that creates constraints. It shrinks the game and shrinks the action, and there's a lot more attention to the small area aspect of it. So I like adding the second net in it because normally you might just have a tag up if you were looking at a drill, but the second net and the second goalie, I think, adds a whole nother element to it.
And the great thing about this setup is versatility. So you can play a game where it's 3-on-3, score on any net. You can also do it where you have to score on the bottom net first, and then coach plays a puck up here and you have to score on the top net. I like that version if you have one goalie, because what I'm doing in that situation is
you make the goalie move.
You make the goalie move. So after the goalie gives up the goal here on the lower net, he or she has to get up here to the top net before the other teams get possession of the second puck. So many things to do with this.
And that's a really good point, because then your goalie truly is, if you're a coach out there and you're watching this drill and thinking about this, think about that. You're watching the play. There's so many things going on. And on top of it, if there's a play that happens, then your goalie's got to move. He's got to take off. He or she has to take off and get to the other net in time, because there could be another play that's going on. So that's a really good point.
Well, this, along with all of our other small area games and drills that have been brought to us by coaches from all across the country, can be found at our website, tooManyMenOnTheMic.com, under Coach's Corner. So we'll do an outro here with another Oregon sound. And again, it's Coach's Corner's Drill Drop, brought to you by Drift Hockey.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna order my Atari shirt right after we get done here. I feel like I need that. It's either Atari or Sega or maybe in television. I mean, I don't know about you, but I only had like 2 friends growing up that had in television, because I kind of felt like there were kind of 2 camps. Like there was Atari and then television. And a lot of people had Atari. I had Atari. Very few people had in television. And in television was like, I kind of felt like a little bit more of a premium kind of offering, kind of like a Betamax versus a VHS kind of deal. And then ColecoVision came in and totally changed everything. And I saved some money and asked my mom and dad and gave it to them and said, can I get a ColecoVision? And I thought I had really attained something when I had got a ColecoVision. And then I could play things like Zaxxon and some crazy games like that, right?
Well, I remember I had an Atari 2600. I think it was the Sears version, actually. Sears version of the Atari 2600. And hockey was just 2 sticks with another stick and a little square on top. And it was another version of Pong with the original Atari. And then when Nintendo came out, see what a difference 4 years makes. You're a 72. Yeah. I'm a 76. So I remember when Nintendo came out and ice hockey, and it was like the Olympic sports with ice hockey. And it was only 4 players and a goalie. And you could pick the little skinny guy, the little medium-sized guy, and the big fat dude. And And then Blades of Steel came out, which was phenomenal. And then Sega, NHL 94. And so what I want to get is a T-shirt with the, like, you know how they have that evolution of man? It goes from the missing link to the upward, I want the evolution of the video game hockey player across the front of my shirt from Atari or from Intellivision or even ColecoVision all the way up to I'll stop at NHL 94 because I think all hockey stopped at NHL 94. But that's just
me. I feel like I missed a step. You talked about Nintendo hockey there for a second.
Yeah.
So I feel like I missed. Maybe I stepped out there. But what I think we should do is we should really think about this, and I think it should be you and me versus Grant in an Atari, Intellivision,
100%.
a Nintendo, a ColecoVision kind of environment. And he's learning the game, and but we should see what his
coach him up.
We should see what his skills are on the screen.
Well, I like the idea too because so many of these kids today are watching these YouTube videos of just people playing video games. We should be able to do that with Grant.
Absolutely.
So I think we absolutely brought to you by Vantage Credit Union. That'll be our first in-person event.
Yeah.
But well, Coach, I mean, I thought today's episode was phenomenal. I really appreciated Josh, and I hope that our listening audience, we've had a lot of friends and a lot of great people who are now calling hockey, they're saying our sport. And I just think it's so awesome that USA Hockey as an organization can take you from 6U to 60U, and all places in between, all levels in between. There's a home for you. Just a great show, and obviously capping off with some great news today with Vantage Credit Union, and more to come for all of our folks out there with some really cool things happening the rest of the summer.
Oh my gosh, the 70 plus and 75 plus leagues. I mean, that just brings a tear to my eye. I mean, the fact that just tells you how good the sport is. The fact that they have 70 and 75 plus year old leagues. And then one of these days, maybe with you, we'll go up to Minnesota and we'll play in this adult hockey tournament that seems like just a fantastic weekend. We'll block off our calendars. We'll go up. We'll get a team of guys and gals together, and we'll go up and compete on 50 plus frozen sheets in Minnesota. How fun would that be?
I'm pumped. That'll take me back to the youth and growing up in Harrison Township and St. Clair Shores on the mean streets of the mean lake of Lake St. Clair. So, well, Coach, great day. We've got this big thing going on right now that I know you and I both want to go watch. So, thanks everybody for listening. Have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of the week. Be sure to watch, kids, at least a period of Stanley Cup Finals hockey. Pick 2 players to watch. And I think, as we like to say, he shoots, he scores.
See you next week.
See you next week, everybody. Take care.